any search engine, type Power BI download. Don't mind with the bits or either 34 or Mark or what, just type that, load. The first option will always be the option you're looking for. So this is the option, the URL, that is the Microsoft.com URL. Click on that. And the page you should be getting always should be the page with the yellow canvas. So when you reach this page, you'll always look for Microsoft Power BI Desktop. I told you that it is entirely free. So you'll go ahead and download, but I'll always ask you to go for the advanced options, such that you select exactly what dictates with the PC you're using. So when you come to this, you can change here the language. Obviously, it is a default of English, but in case you want to run Power BI with another language, you have that potential to do so. So here you'll go ahead and download. Then why I'm saying you come to this page, you can always read the requirements, the details and the requirements. So the requirements, which means you'll always need Windows 10 up and above. You'll always need a web browser, which should be Explorer 10. We all have, most of us, we have Edge, we have Chrome, which is okay. And Microsoft Power BI Desktop is available for both 32-bit and 64-bit. So you'll check your laptop whether you have 34 or 64 by going to my computer, this computer. You check for your properties. It will always tell you the bit you're having. So here it is, the system type. So I'm taking you through this because you may not have Power BI on your company laptop, but you may have a laptop aside you want to use this. Those are the things you'll have to check with yourself before you download it. So here you'll go ahead and download. The moment you download, it will start reloading with the download. And when the download is done, installing is easy. Just actually here you have to select the option you want, but it is only 64. Most of us are having 64. So go ahead next. It will automatically start downloading. This is the pop-up asking for the download. So I'll say go ahead and download, then it will start downloading. So for me, I will not complete the download because the download is around 400 MBs, around 500. I will cancel this. So I have one already in the downloads, which is here. So it is just a matter of double clicking on that download. Then a dialog box will pop up. Go ahead and do next. It is telling me that I already have another version, and of which that version is open. But for your case, you'll continue next until it has installed. So when the installation is done, you'll finish and it will automatically open this page. Here we are. So I've shown you how we download this. Now, the first thing to take you through is this first page. You'll always receive, or we call it a startup page. It always has reads. You can always link to what is new, the forums for Power BI. If you want to read more about Power BI, self-tutoring, then it has tutorials. You can always skip in and watch such tutorials, how you build a report, how you do querying, how you upload your reports, how you create phone reports. It has all those tutorials. The moment you have downloaded this, obviously playing this video, you will need internet, but Power BI itself, desktop, you don't need internet when you're using it. You'll always need internet if you're connecting with a data set that is online. So you can even go ahead, it takes you through how you get started. There is a video to show you like whatever I've shown you here. how to download sample data to use. You can watch training videos. You can go ahead and see how other people are doing the builds and the guided learning a lot. In other words, this front page gives you everything you may need on Power BI. Don't hustle to look for Power BI videos on YouTube, of which, yes, you can have them on YouTube with your specified pages you're subscribing to. But if you want direct videos that Microsoft has created for you, then you can always find them on this startup page. Now, I don't need this startup page, then I'll go ahead and cancel it because whatever is there, at least I've accessed it. Now, the next thing is, okay, the next thing is we are going to, I can tell you about the signing in before we go to anything else. The signing in, I'm signed in with an account 3D services. When you're signing in Power BI, you have to sign in with a company email, and that company email should be having a subscription with Power BI. So you can work with Power BI without signing in. That's why I've signed it. I've signed out such that you'll be sure that we can use it without signing in. So you see here, I have no account signed in, but we are going to use Power BI. The signing in, I will need it for some futures if I want to share my report with the world, if I want to extract data from online. Now, this is what we call a Power BI front canvas or report canvas page. And on the canvas page, we always have what to start up with. So if you pick getting data from Excel, you already have a shortcut here. If it is an SQL server, you have it here. If you're just creating a blank table, you have it here. And if you want to pick any sample data set from Power BI itself, you can get it here. Then what you see on top, that is the tabs we have with the different features. So we have a home tab, we have an insert. I'm not saying that you should cram everything now. Power BI, you'll give it some time, but it is always a continuous practice. We have modeling. Yesterday we did modeling. We saw what modeling means. You'll find the modeling this side. Exactly what you were looking at in Excel is what you're going to see here today. Nothing, a few things are going to change in modeling. Then on visibility, if you're changing themes and you're changing your report type to mobile view, we shall look at all that in future. Optimizing, yesterday we also had it in Power Query, where I told you that you may not need it so much, but on an advanced level, you'll find that you're using all these. I'll go ahead. And now the first thing we are going to start with is on home. What we are already well conversant with is the Get tab. So we have already seen this tab in Excel for many days now. It is the same tab we are going to use to pick our data. Then the other features I want to show you, we have 3 breakdowns in Power BI. We have the first one, which shows report view. We have the second one, which shows data view. We have the third one, which shows model view. So when you have created your model, you'll always find it under model view. When you have uploaded your data in tables, you'll always find it in a data view. And when you have done your reports, you'll always do them from the report view. So here now we are in the tool that does data visualization. Visualization, I mean creating dashboards. Excel is not meant for creating dashboards, but you can use it to create dashboards because it is a spreadsheet. That's why we have these tools like Power BI. We have tools like Looker Studio, that is for Google Data Studio. We have tools like Tableau, You can read more about those tools, but for now we are focusing on Power BI. So with Power BI, you can create as many tables as you can. Here we are, you can create as many pages as you can. So we shall find ourselves creating many pages here because your report is having more than one page. So we shall look at that. And even when you share your report, you're always having the right to hide that page, not to visibility of the other team. So which means if I hide it and I publish this report to the world or to my team members or teammates, they will not see the page 3 because it lies in my own desktop version of it, where I can command whether it is in view or, but it doesn't mean that the reports or the data you have put on that page is not visible to everyone. So we shall look at that. Now, what you're looking at on the right pane, that's what we call a visualization pane. So we always have a data pane. When we load all our tables, you'll see them here. We have a visualization pane where we pick every type of chart in this world. Then you always also have a potential of picking more visuals. There are millions and millions of them online on the internet, which means to go here, you have to be having internet. And most of the cases, it will require you to sign in. So that's why now the sign-in comes into play. Then on the visualization pane, we have the build visual part, and we have the part for the page format. Here we are looking at page format because we don't have any report. But in case we start doing any charts, maybe pie charts or any visuals, you'll always set your visuals from here. We are going to do, at least I want to be quick today to make sure that we do something better. Okay. Then we have the filter pane. The filter pane, you see all these panes can be minimized to make sure that you increase the canvas space. So you see when they are all expanded, the canvas space becomes small. So if I want to collapse this, you can always collapse them like that, such that you have a bigger canvas space. We call this one a canvas space. Then you can add more panes here by coming to view. You see now we have the filters pane. You can add the bookmark pane. I will show you what bookmark means. You can add the selection pane. I'll show you what the selection means, which it may not be today, but time to come. There is the performance analyzer. You see that you can have like many panes here, but we always make sure that you put what you're going to use in front of you. I've always said that. So all these are not required for now, but the filter pane is always the default and we may need it. So I think that is it. You can always even add grid lines. You can do snap to grid. I'll show you what it means as we start dropping visuals. You can change a theme and you can even create your own theme depending on the brands of the company you're working for or a client report you're working on or a project, and that client has their own brand. You'll find that you're also using that brand. So I think now that is I think the best introduction I can do now. Let's go ahead and pick our data. I'm going to do it in quick because we did the same thing yesterday. So it will just be a review on how we did it yesterday. So I'll go to get data. Last time I told you that you can create screenshots for shortcuts for Excel, but for Power BI you may not be able to create the shortcuts we were creating yesterday. So yesterday we are looking at text CSVs. We saw them here. I'm not going to repeat like a review. You know, we have to do a review at the beginning before you start your project. So yesterday we did a review and we reviewed all these files, and we know what they look like and what they speak about. So those are the CSVs. So I will come here and pick directly a CSV. But before we go there, when you go to more, Power BI is having over 200 connectors or connections. If you come to certified, it will take you to online and give you the certified connectors, but that's not what we are reviewing now. To just continue doing a read. Then these are all the connectors we can connect to. So if you have any platform you're subscribing to, even if it is your business, you bought maybe a storage, cloud storage, and it is under a certain company, you can always pick or stream your data directly in Power BI using that company, which you are subscribed to. Those who have done programming, you can understand. Sometimes you have a mobile application, it is saving its data in a cloud storage of a certain platform. So you can always find that platform here. If it is certified under Power BI or Microsoft, then you pick your mobile data directly into this. You see, when we have LinkedIn Sales Navigator. So there is a lot. Just go there and preview. But for now, most of the desktop, you'll always use this because all the others are online. So you'll find you're using Excel, you'll find you're using CSV, you're using folder. Those people who are saying their Excels don't have PDF, here you go, which means in Power BI, you can use this for free. You don't need the Excel that is paid to have the PDF. So you saw how we are picking PDFs and how we are dealing with them. So the same thing you do to follow how to combine PDFs and do all that bit. So this time we are going to look at CSVs, and I can say connect, or you can find directly here on the drop down, giving you a few summary of them. So I'll pick CSV, go directly to the report we want to pick here, Northwind Traders, and we pick one of them. We start with categories as how we did yesterday, and open. The moment you open, it is going to connect, and it is nearly the same thing as how it was in Excel. So there is loading and transforming. Now, the loading in Power BI is not like the loading in Excel, because in Excel we have two options: loading your data into a table or loading it as a connection. Sorry. Or loading it as a connection. In Power BI, when you say load, you have loaded it directly as a connection. And after loading it as a connection, which means you can view that table in this pane I showed you, where we have the data view. So which means here, since I have nothing to transform, yesterday I showed you how you can look at your data and you say, I have nothing to transform here, then I'll go directly and load. So I'll load this, and it will go ahead and load. Then here they are. Okay, they were telling me that they are pending changes, which means it was still running in the background. So the moment it loads here, it has already loaded. So when I come to this, I will see I will look at all the fields it has, which means now if I go to the data view, I already have this. The moment I click on it, it shows me the data view. So the table view, then I can do all the other bits, but we shall look at that later. So let's come back here. So we are loading the second one quickly, like how we did yesterday. We need to do at least something productive today. This is customer page. Remember the customer page last time we saw that the columns were not in the right channel. You see the headers are in the first row, which is not heading. So that's where you come and say, let me transform this data. The same pivot Power Query editor, like how it is in Excel. Nothing has changed. Going to transform the same thing, add columns, the same thing, only here that you have a view. Someone was telling me that I don't have the column quality. In Power BI, you'll find it there. You may not be having it because of the Excel you have, but here it is there. Then here you'll always maybe find the tools, which is under diagnosis, which you also have the other side. and the help, which gives you everything you saw in the startup page. So if you missed the startup page or you canceled it, you can come always here. You see the training videos, the documentation, guided learning, sample files. You want sample data to play with, you can come and pick it from here. So we focus. Let's come back here. Then I will minimize this. It is the same thing. I'm not going to explain a lot. It is the same thing as how it is in Excel. So what we are doing here, we want to promote these headers. So you'll come and click on these headers. You go to here, use first rows as headers. So I'll automatically do that and they will be already promoted. And that's the only thing I wanted to do. I know Excel has done for me everything. Data types have been changed to what I need. So we come here, close and apply. The other side, it was close and load. Here it is close and apply, because everything will be loaded as a connection. They no longer need to give you an option of close and load as a connection. So close and apply. If you want to just apply the changes you have just done, but stay in this Power Query editor, maybe you want to do something else, you just say apply, it will remain open. Let's say when you do apply, it remains open. Then maybe you wanted to do something else, because I wanted to save those changes. Someone today asked me that yesterday, I didn't see you saving. When you close and apply, close and do this, you're tentatively saving your changes. But remember, there is a document you are working on which you also have to save independently. So here I will go ahead and close and apply. So it is here. That is the customer table now. When I click on this, I will see all the columns. Now, there are these two differences. You see that this column, this field is having a summation on it. These ones are not having a summation sign because this is a number. When we go to data view and check very well, you'll see that this is a number. That's why it is giving us the summation symbol. Then if I click on this, it will also preview me the data for the customers. That's why they call this one data view, if you want to view your data. Then when we want to create more columns, you want to create a new column, you can come here, we shall see that. Maybe you already have a model, you want to manage the relationship, you can do that. I'll show you on these properties as time goes on. Then if you want to change the data type from here, you can always select a column and come and change from here. It is okay, you can do the changes from here, the data types. That this is date, by the way, I forgot, let me change it to date. So that is it. Let's go back now. I'm going to do it in a quick to make sure that all the 7 are loaded. So I will do this, load the third employee. As you can ask questions as I'm doing this. I know everyone yesterday went through this and we know how to load this. So I'm loading all my tables. Here it is. I just check the headers and the way how the data is, I just load. If I see there is anything I need to add, just come on transform data. So I will load another one. This I will load. It's fine. Go ahead and load. Okay. I did this with a purpose. So when you load the same file twice, it will load twice, but it will give you a 2 in brackets. So always note that you shouldn't have a lot of duplications you're doing in your data. Yes, you can, if it is a different file, you can go there, you can go ahead and rename it. But it is not good to rename something you already know that it's the same, because if I come here on data view and I click on this, it's the same as this, nothing changing. So which means you can go ahead and delete this always if you find that you had done a duplication. So you can go ahead and delete it from the data model and say yes, it will disappear. If I come back here, it's gone. Now, we can always remember to save our file, because you see it is untitled. So I'll go ahead and click on the save, then it will open for me to put a name. And a file, a Power BI file is always having an extension of PBIX. If someone tells you you have been doing developments in Power BI, and someone says, okay, the report you share with me the PBX file, which means that person needs you to share him the mother file where that report you shared was done from. So which is this. So we shall save this as actually this was Northwind Traders. Northwind Traders. We go ahead. You can pick a folder from here. So you can go and say more. Then you go and search for the folder you want. So I'll come in my OneDrive recent and browse this device. I think you have seen where I've got it. I'm browsing my device. I'm looking for where to put it. I'm supposed to put it here. Supposed to put it here. So can put a name because we had browsed. So I will take the name again. Northwind Traders. Here it is. But remember, this is a PBX. Even if it is having the same name, this is the PBIX. It will save differently. The other one was a folder. Oh, sorry. What's this? Okay, I'm supposed to put here inside. Northwind Traders. Save. Now we have saved our file, which means even if my battery got down, I'm well sure that I have. Sorry for that. Sorry. Okay, sorry for that. So we have the 4. Let me pick the others. Just quickly, I've already ordered details. I'm going to order. Here it is. The table is okay. The dates are aligned on the right, and the number aligned on the right. These decimals are aligned on the right. Nothing to transform. I just load. So I'm doing this because we have already studied our data. We know what it is. So, which gives you you save some time when you read your data before you start using it. These are products. We shall go ahead still just do a quick validation. It is okay. Load. So anyone who needs to know more about transforming, we have done that, I think, in a full session last week. You can go there and visit the videos. So shippers, we also load. Now shippers, that's when we had some challenge yesterday that we had to remove some columns and some rows because we don't want to pick with them in our data. So that's where you come here and you transform the data. Remember, on this data, I don't need columns from here to the end. So you can press a shift and select the last one, or you can press one, select one and press a control, go ahead selecting one by one. Or you can select the ones you want to remain with, and you go ahead and remove the ones you don't want. By saying remove other columns, it will remove others. We said yesterday also we have to remove these 2 rows at the bottom. We did the same thing, remove the bottom rows, and we have to give it a number. We want 2 rows removed, and they will be removed. And here we go, you have already your table smart. You go ahead and close and apply. So the moment you close and apply, it will apply changes. If it gets stuck there, please you click on the apply changes, it will. So we have all our 7 tables. When we come to the data view, still we can see all our 7 tables. So when you click on them, you can see what your data is. You see, you can check what your data is, like that. like so, like so, like so. Now, when we come to, now, do you know why they call this PBI, Power BI? BI means business intelligence. Power BI is one of the data tools that can do things in the background for you without hustling. You saw yesterday with Excel, we found these tables had not picked the relationships. But Power BI has detected the relationships for you and created the relationships. So our work now is to verify whether they are right. So the person who was using Excel yesterday and the person using Power BI yesterday, the person using Power BI is more spoon-fed. That's why I had to start with Power Query such that you get the basics. So you'll see that Power BI has already done for you. Let's zoom in this. Now, if I try to move these tables aside and I bring my orders table in the middle, like this, this one can stay there. Actually, this was supposed to be here. This one is here. This one is here. And this is here. This one, we can bring it here and here. Now, I want someone to compare with what we had yesterday. This was Power BI, manage, and data model. Here we go. Guys, this is what we had yesterday. I can put it here, then such that now this is what we have today. There is no change. You see that the product, the categories was connecting the category was connecting directly to products, which is here, which was connecting to order details, which is there, order details connecting to orders, which is here. Then we have shippers on the other side, which was here. We have employees and customer all connecting on the orders, which is here and here. We have not done anything in modeling. Power BI has done the modeling for us. That's why if you are teaching someone modeling, you always start with Power Query in Excel, such that they get the basics, they get the hustle. So I don't know whether up to here we have any question, because we did up to here yesterday. Okay, no question as of now. Now, today there is something maybe I may not introduce. I will bring that next time when we are dealing with some other data different from this, is creating a table called a date table. So you'll always need a date table in your data or in your model, such that, let me open for you one of the models here. We look at it. Such that if you have more than one table having dates, those dates should speak to each other by connecting to one table that is called a date table. Such that when we are picking dates, we pick them from that table, not these specific tables. But since we only have one table here with a date, then we may not need the date table. So, and when I zoom this one out, you'll find that anything that denotes a date, I'll minimize this first, anything that denotes to be a date has a calendar in front of it. So let me show you something I wanted to show you here on data modeling, like this. Now, when you look at this, you'll find that there are many tables having dates. You see, like this table, the ECOP violation, this one has a date here and a date here. When you look at this one, this is now the calendar table I told you about, that we always create to make sure that every table with a date connects to this date calendar table, such that when I'm using dates on my report, I use this calendar to pick dates, because these dates are connected to every report that has a date in it. So you'll see that this trip mileage is also having a date. We have this overspeeding has a date. This driver daily report violation has a date. So it means that when you go in your reports and you pick a date for driver daily report, that date will not filter with another table that is like eco violations. It will not filter like with another table trip mileage. The only thing I have to do, bring all those dates, connect to one date, and it is only this date I will be using. And there we have a code which I created. I created this code myself, but I will take you through how we create this. It's very simple. This is what we call DAX in either Power Query or Power BI. DAX, we started by breaking it as data analytics expressions. When we come to Power BI, we no longer call them formulas. Because in Excel, this should be called a formula, but you can never find such a formula in Excel. So that's why we call them data analytics expressions. So we shall do a lot of this, and I will require you to do a lot in coming up with such. They are very simple. The moment you understand how they come up, they are very simple. Don't look at the code and get scared. It is very simple to come up with. They are the other formulas we are doing in Excel. You remember when we are doing formulas and we're putting 4M's, we're putting 4D's, we are putting 4Y's to make sure that it is a month name. They are the same things you find here. But now here they are picked in a different way. Okay, let's go back to our simple data we've been using. I'll close this. But I will keep using it as a reference as we go on. Now, our model is created, our data has been brought, and now the remaining thing is the report view. I think now it makes sense. When we started, I told you that the Excel's business intelligence tools, all of which are available directly in Excel, we found that we picked raw data, we used CSV and Excel, we used even folders. We have done that. We did the power querying, we did the transformation of data, which I once said that it is called ETL, that is extraction, transformation, and loading. We did data modeling, we created those relationships, we created measures, and we didn't look at hierarchies because it was some other advanced level to that. Then we went ahead and saw how we create DAX in Power Pivot. We created a measure yesterday of bonus. So ideally, we did a lot on the business intelligence for Excel. Now, on top of this, what remains at the end of the day is the view. That's why when you are talking to someone and you'll always tell someone that we have 3 power tools with Microsoft. I'm not saying Excel, neither Power BI, because I'm just doing it Microsoft at large. We have Power Query, we have Power Pivot, and now we have Power BI. Why is Power BI a different tool on its own? Because it does the view. So this one does the get and transform, this one does the modeling, and Power BI does the view. Give me this page. This is the canvas. They tell me that build visuals with your data. You remember in the start, before we put any table here, it was having a different view. It was telling us to pick data. But the moment we picked the first, it changed this: select or drag fields from your data pane onto the report canvas. So it is 8 exactly. We have a full hour. We are going to see how we can format this. I'm going to create a simple report that doesn't have to leave us wondering whether we shall ever understand this. So I will create my page. The first page, I'll call it a dashboard. I'll call this a dashboard. So I've renamed this page. Now, we start. Now, the first thing before you start building a report, last time we said that you have a problem you're solving. So here you also read yesterday, we had a problem we are solving. So when you look at our data, at some point, if maybe I can note out, we shall need to look at the orders. We shall need to look at the freight costs. We shall need to look at a lot. Just look at your data. The number of products you have, the unique number of products. You will need to look at maybe the shippers, all that, since we have already modeled it. Now, the first thing is we always have scorecards. So this is a scorecard. This you're seeing. You can always hover and it will always give you the name of that visual. I may not be in position to enlarge this because the zooming in and out, it zooms in just the canvas page. But I hope you're seeing these visuals. So we shall start with scorecards. But before you start with a scorecard, we shall always first need to give, let's say, our page, let's say a color, a background color, not to leave it white. And if you want to do that, you'll always come here on page, format your page, which is that pen. Then you can, this is the page information the way it is. I have created a dashboard. Other things you look through, this is the canvas settings. It is 16 by 9. If I want to make it 4 by 3, you see it shrinks in. If I want to make it like a letter, you see how it is, which means you can always go ahead and make it 100%. If you want to create a report that fits on the whole that paper you print, the A4 paper, which means you'll have to create your report with such a canvas, such that if someone is to print out a report, then it comes with a full document already sized. So you set this from this side even before you start. So I'll use the 16 to 9 because we just need it to be visibly present for people to view it on their laptops. Okay, that is it. The background color, now here we come. So we can always come here and give it a background. So with Lafarge, I'll say, I'll come here and pick a greenish color like this, maybe blue. Let me go with a blue. So I can go with such a blue color. So I've picked the blue color, but you don't see the canvas changing blue because the transparency is 100%. The moment I shrink this transparency, you'll see the blue color happening. So the moment we start dropping here our reports, it will have a background color that is already blue. You can also insert a picture. So we can go ahead and insert a picture. Let me get a nice picture I can insert. Let me insert this picture. We shall remove it. So the moment I do that, you see it inserts automatically a picture in the background. So if I go ahead and start creating my charts like this picture will be in the background. So it is up to you how you always use it. So when we come to the canvas, I was still showing you how we insert background. If you have inserted a picture, there are always options here. Image fit, it has fit. If you want it normal, that's the same thing. If you want it fit, it is the same thing. Then there is also filling. Because this image was created as the same size. But if you brought, let's say, a smaller image like this, now that's where you'll get this. Where this, you'll find that it is on normal. But if I say fit, you see how it fits. So you always have to be calculative if you want to bring an image in the background. If you say fill, you see how it feels. It doesn't pick the sense you wanted it to pick. So always, if you're inserting an image, you'll be sensitive to what you're inserting. And in data visualization or data analysis, we don't focus on making a report beautiful. We focus on sending out the context of the data. So don't always focus on making everything beautiful. And that's why I'll always recommend you to use 3 colors maximum. If you have gone so much, let them not exceed 4, but 3 colors is always the maximum. 3 colors, black and white, not counted. So it is always good to use that principle such that your report is not so colorful that the color blinded will get issues with your report. So this color, we are at 0 transparency. If I go ahead increasing the transparency, you see the color going transparent. So you can always play with the transparency to make sure that you get something that is light, that is not going to shout so much. Remember, when your background shouts, people lose focus of the data you're showing them. So you can go even ahead and there is wallpaper here. You can go and pick a wallpaper. We shall look at what a wallpaper looks like. Fitting pens, but filtering cards, all these we shall look at them when we extend in other, but we don't want to lose focus on doing those settings, which may not be so much sensitive to the data we have. Now, I had already inserted a bar chart. I will delete this by pressing your delete button on the keyboard. Now, the next thing I want to start with is putting a header for my report. So you go and insert always and look for text. You see, this is I'm hiding a float control here. So you see, this is a text. So you can always click on this, insert that text. So here I'll go ahead and this is my header. I'll stretch it up to the end because I want to insert a text. So I can start now typing. This is Northwind Traders. Northwind Traders. So after inserting your text, you see where it is in the farmost corner. You always have a pen that always drops here. You can go ahead and bold this, but bolding, you have to make sure that the cursor is not inside like this. If you are to create any change to the whole text box, the cursor shouldn't be inside. Just click on the border such that the cursor is not inside, then you can bold. Sorry. I think my cursor is not picking up, but let me do the easiest way. Select and bold. Then after bolding, you can increase the size here up to around 28. Then I can put to 36. Then after that, I can center this. Then after centering it, I can give it a color, which I feel can match maybe what I'm looking at. So I can give this a color of sharp blue. I can give it this color blue. Then there I'm done. You see, now this is what I have. But still, I need the other blue color of mine to be popping up. I don't need this white color. So what you do, you click on this. Now, here is where we start formatting from. The moment you click on that, you always have a format pane here. So a format pane has always effects. So when I click on this text box, you can always go on effects and look for background. So you see the background is white. I don't want to change it to any color, but I want to make it transparent. So I will drag this transparent pen up to the end and it will be transparent. And here you go. We have our header that is so much at least neat as of now. Then after that, I can start placing in my cardboards, my cards. So I can start with this card, make sure that it is more like this. Now, the first card, what should we put there? Then it is upon you to start picking. You'll already be having those summaries on your paper, on your plan paper, that I needed revenue. Maybe you'll come now to the orders tab. Then where did we have revenue? Where did we have the orders tab? Here we had quantity and unit price. Do you know that now here we need to create a measure that is going to give us the amount? So we haven't created that measure. It's good we have the opportunity that it has come. How do we create a measure? So you can either go and create a column that is multiplying this and this, or you can create a measure. But which one is more advantageous than the other? Creating a measure is very fine because we don't increase much on the size of our Power BI file, this PBX file. So I'll right click on this table and say create a new measure. So if you want, you can say new quick measure for the start, since we are not yet well conversant with measures. A measure is like putting a formula to calculate something else, a field that is calculated. So I'll come here and say create a quick measure. Now, when you go to create a quick measure, now, Duncan was asking AI. So ChatGTP has a replicate of Copilot in Power BI. So if you have an updated version, you have this, where you can just tell it in words and it will create for you the measure. So when you come to this cockpit, you can, but you have to have signed in, which means you must be having an account. So when you have an account, you just tell it, please get for me the amount in the amount for each field for the order details table. It will get this, multiply it to this, subtract the discount, and then it will give you the field. But now we are going to calculate this. Now on calculating, they are giving us now, first of all, they are giving us a few things we can start with. You see average per category, average variance per category, maximum. We don't need all this. Here they are giving us filter value. We don't need this. Sales from new customers, we don't need that. Now here what we are going to do is we are going to multiply. And when you say multiply, what am I multiplying? What is the base value? The base value I'm multiplying. When you click on it, they bring for you a table for you to select what you want to multiply. So I'll say on the orders file, I want to multiply this quantity. They have brought it here. Then value to multiply with, I will still click, I want to multiply with the unit price. The moment I'm done, I can say add. It is going to automatically add for me a measure. So when I say add, it is going to run, and Excel or Power BI is going to give me the real syntax. You know, before, 2 months ago, we were typing this manually, which means someone to use Power BI had to know the syntax that sum of order the other quantity, sum times sum of order details unit price. But now you see that we have gone to quick measure and you just say multiply, it gives you directly. And this is it, what it has done. You see it has called it quantity times unit price. So our work can come here. We name this. This is amount. That's what we are doing. That is amount. Then now remember that we need to subtract the discounts because we have to subtract the discounts. So you'll come here, you subtract the sum of discounts. So you can look for discounts here because they're in this table, discounts here like this. So, oh, sorry. I double clicked and went away, but I will delete that. We go back to what we are looking at, which is this. So here I was subtracting sum of discounts, which means we are getting the quantity times the unit price, but if someone was given a discount, we want to subtract it. So I will go ahead and tick this. The moment you tick, you will have accepted, but since it is already accepted, it is here, then that's the amount. So now, this we have created is a calculated measure or a calculated, we call it a measure. So it is different from the other fields because for it is a measure. So I can minimize this because I no longer need it. Actually, you can cancel it. Now, since I have a card here, when I drag this and drop it here, when I drag this and drop it here in the fields, it is going to automatically give me the money that was sold out. That is 3 billion. It is giving me a billion by default, but you may not need to have a billion, or you may need the whole number to spread out, which means I'll come here and go to the call out value, and you'll see the call out value here on display units having auto. So you can go there and say, me, I don't want auto, I want it in millions, and they will give it in millions. Or you'll say, I want it as how it is, none, and they will give you the number as how it is. But it is always good to have a break, either billions or this. So if I go to billions, I can say, give me at least 2 decimal places, such that it makes sense, or 3 decimal places. But always 2 is enough. So here now, as we speak, we have created our first visual, which is a card. Now, before we go to something else, are we together on how we can create a measure? Because we have gone that through. But creating a measure, don't get worried with it. It is a slowly pace. So you shouldn't force yourself, or you shouldn't lose morale because you see there is a lot of formula measures. I have showed you that AI is doing it even quick for us. You see how we have created a measure? It was just a dragging and drop. It was doing for us the formula. So quick measure is a hit for you. But if you want to do the basics, you type and learn the syntax. Now this is it. But this card doesn't look fine. I don't like it. So we have to go there and sweeten it such that it looks good in the face of someone looking at your report. So that's the next thing we are going to. Let's see, how do we format a visual such that we give it a good texture. So you click on that visual, you go to format your visual. You see we have format your visual here. Now we have the visual formats which are here where you look at data. We have already looked at this. This one is called a call out value. Then category label is what you see here. The moment I remove this, you see the word amount disappears. The moment I put it again, the amount appears again. Now, we have nothing much we can do here, but we can always go to general. Now, on general, that's where you have a lot of things. Go there, play with it, see how things change. That's when you get to know most of the things. So we don't have a title, but if you want a title, you can put a title and come and type here title and say, I want this to be called revenue, like this. I want it to be called revenue like this. So it is up to you. You can change the bold. I will not tell you what is bold, what is italic, what is underlined. It is up to you. But make sure that you should be brief in your designing. So I can center this. You can increase it in bold. You can give it a color. I can say maybe all my headers will be blue. Then I've done all what I'm doing on title. Let's go on something else. I'm shrinking title. Let's go on effects because I want to look at effects very much. Now on effects, if we want, we can give our card. We can give this card of ours. We can give it a color. Let's say we want this to be something like greenish, because we are focusing to look at a greenish like this, like that. Then you can play with the transparency to make sure that it is fine. Then that is done. Let's go on background is done. Let's go on the visual border. Now visual, you first have to toggle it on before you do anything here. So if I toggle this on and I say, you see my border is black. Actually, when you click outside, you go back. You have to go back afresh here. So you see my, we are done with background. So we are going to visual border. So I want to give my visual borders like it is round. It is having that roundness. So you can increase the roundness from here like this. A 10 is always good. You can even give it a shadow by toggling on the shadow. And I will want to give it a shadow like of black. You can give it outside or inside, bottom light. Play with everything. If I want, I can bring a shadow like bluish something in the background, but it is going to be like a background. So let me go with a shadow that is somehow like this, glowish like that. So there we go. You can go ahead and that is shadow done, the border done. Then what else? Header icons. Looking at header icons, let's leave this for now. It is putting icons here. Let's leave that for now. Then a tooltip, we shall look at that later. So at least now we have done something. When you look at our visual, you see that it has started picking some sense. But let's reduce on the font because I want it smaller. So you click on it again. Actually, if you want to search quickly, click here, you type the word font here like this. Everything that has font will pop up. So you start reducing. Here we have started with the call out. Then you scroll down, you reduce this was the label amount. You go to, this is the header. Then the fonts are done. We can reduce this the more. Then we go ahead and have our, actually the header, we need to increase it again. So type here font. It will bring the font, then the header, where is header, the title. We need to increase it like this. That is enough. And there we go. So we can have this now as our card. So if I put it aside and now start adding other cards, it means I already have a format. So which means if I add another card like this, which is new, fresh like this, and let's say on this card, I want to add maybe the number of employees, which means I'll just pick the employee IDs and I drag them here. It will automatically count the employees. What do I need? I want it to look like this. What do you do? Click on this, do Format Painter, and come and click on this. It will automatically format Painter like this one. But now the problem, this one would put it in billions, this one doesn't have to be in billions. So you can go ahead and format that independently by coming on the call out value and say this one do none. It will pick the 9, we don't need the decimal places, and there we go. So if you don't need this to show as count of employee IDs, you can go ahead and come back here on visual. You can always double click here and edit from here. Like I can say, I can just put this is the stuff, enter. It will pick stuff like that. So we have now our card for stuff like this. So depending on what you have on your lineup of plan, you can go ahead and start working on that. If I want orders, the number of orders that came through, remember we have an order ID here. So I can create another card and call this order IDs. And here it is counting the number of orders, which means if an order is repeated, it will count it twice. But you can always click on this arrow and you say this time I want you to count distinct. Every order count it once. So you see there are 830 orders. The other time, because of different items, it was duplicating them. So the same thing, I want this to resemble this one. I will do Format Painter, click there. It will Format Painter that one. So these are the number of orders. So you can put them here and you say, this is number of orders like this. And enter. Now, if you don't want to show the category labels, you can always choose to be having headers only. So which means here I can click on this, you come here, you write title, because there are a lot of things if you want to scroll, but it is always easy for you to type here. Then I put my title as, this is stuff, like this. Then you see that is it. So which means I'll go ahead and remove the category, toggle this one off. Come here, toggle this off, because I just need, just to make sure that your data is not cluttered with a lot of things. and making sure that they're all the same. So this one still, we toggle off that and we come here, we type title. The title we are giving it, what is this? These are orders. And the moment you click outside, it updates. So you can have as many cards as you can, but you don't have to have a village of cards. You have to have cards that are going to be purposeful to your report. Now, the beauty of it all, I know you can continue doing the cards. The beauty of it all, I need now to drag something like a filter. So there is a filter here. You see this is called a slicer. We already talked about slicers in the past world we have come from. That is Excel. So I'll click on this slicer. The slicer will appear here. I will want to give it a field. What field should I give the slicer? I'm going to look for a date. Let's look for a date. So where do we have dates? The dates are here in order. Where do we have dates? They are in orders here. So it is upon you whether you're going to take the order date or the required date or the shipping date. But remember, when I told you that we always create a calendar table to make sure that we tag all these to the calendar. But for now, I'll pick this, put it here. Now, the moment I put it there, as I already told you that Power BI is so intelligent that it knows that since it is a date, it will put it in form of a slider like this, such that I can easily slide and my data will automatically change with the slider. You easily slide, the data automatically changes with the slider. If you want, you can click here and change the date. Let's say I want to look at all the data from 4th July because I think the list is 4th July to the end of July. So I'll click here, go to, when you click here, you first select the year. When you click here, you select the year upwards, 2013. We go to April, then we select 30. This one is not, this is 2014, 2013 April. This was July. Okay, it was July. So when I click here, you see it is giving me 1 month. But because I had put this in billions, you get hardships in reading when someone filters like 1 month. So there is a lot we shall work on to make sure that you always have it right. But a slider is a win of it all. So you can slide. Now, if I want, I can change. It is looking so shabby. If I want, I can change this. Still, you can change this from the format. The first thing, you can remove the header because everyone knows this is the date. This one is a date. So you see, we are shrinking it the more. Now, if you want, you can remove the slice, the slider, such that you remain with the date from and date to. But if you want the slider, there you go. Then you can do other settings like slicer settings. Here we are saying between this and that. If you want, you can do before. So you can have one date that will always pick before. So you don't have a slice on the end, you only have a slicer to select like this, which may pick some sense also, such that people can't select dates before your data. Okay, a lot you can do here. You can also make it a drop down such that people click here and select the date, of which it doesn't pick a lot of sense there. So I'll take it back to what was it? Was a tile? It was between. So you can go ahead here and remove a background. So if I want to remove background, don't hassle yourself to look for background everywhere. Just type what background here. Start looking at those backgrounds. This is background color, which is for values. There is a background color for effects here. This is what we want, because even it is turned on. So if I turn it off, you see automatically it goes off. So your slider just appears that way if you want it to appear that way. So you can have this one like in the corner for the people to to filter your dates. You can even have more slicers. Let's say I can pick another slicer for the shippers. So I can go to the shippers and I pick the shipper name, put it here. Then I'll double click here and name this. I actually let me name it vessel, such that it speaks to what we know. So if I name vessel like this, you see now it brings me to check. So when I check vessel federal, it filters the whole data to federal. If I check this, it filters the data. If I check United, it filters the data to United. So I'll clear this and everything will be visible. Now you can go ahead. You can go ahead and change also to tweak this drop down by going to format your visuals. Then you go to slicer settings. This time we need this as a drop down. It sounds better when it is a drop down. And when it is a drop down like this, you can pick your drop down. Now, if we want it to also have another color, you can always have that color. And you notice that this is the color you need. Now, there is also another option. You can make them tiles. So if you come here on field settings, you can make them tiles like this, such that they become like buttons like this, such that you can put it somewhere and these are buttons, which means if I remove the background, so I can click on this, format painter, paint it on this. The background is gone, so I can pick again the tile like this. So you see now this tile becomes like a button. So when you click on that, it changes. When you click on that, it changes. It is all your choice on how you put your things right. So I can put those there, move these ones somehow downwards a bit. Okay, I'll select them, move them down like this, because the top part I will use it for slicers. So when I select United, when I select this, so here we go. So at least I've done something on scorecard, on cards. I've done something on slicers. You now pick it how you can deal with slicers. Let's go for a table. Now you can pick like a table here. We can use this table. You pick our table here. So on our table, we go ahead and say, now what do we need to put on the table? On the table, we shall need maybe to put customers. So you can come and pick the customer name like this. So here our customers will go. Then we can go ahead now in another table and pick the amount of orders they have put in. This, you add it there, down. Actually, you pick and add it there. So you see the values add here. You can go ahead and add another thing on freight. Where did we have the freight? Here. The freight charges that are portioned to every, these are the freights. You can add a lot in a table such that your table is formatted right. Then this table also have a long way to format it to make sure that it picks right in the eyes of the users. Now, that's when we have now the filter pane. We had not used the filter pane before. Now, when we come to the filter pane, you can say, this table of mine, I want the top 10 on the amount. So if I come, you see, because we have 1, 2, 3 columns, that's why there are 3 here, which means you can filter by any. So if I come here and I filter only like 2, they are the ones which will appear here because I used that filter to filter 2. But let me filter, select all. I want to use the amount such that I get the top 10. So I'll come here. Then on amount, it is asking you, do you want to filter by less than? If I put here like less than 1 million, I'll receive only those less than 1 million. If I want greater than, you do the same. But this time, I want to use the basic. So if I click here, sorry, there is, okay. There is basic, may not be visible. Actually, it's here. It is on the names of the customer where we shall do the basic and the advanced. So when we come here and we say advanced filtering or top N, you saw top N when we are doing power pivots. No, pivot tables. So here I will do top N. Now top N, you say I want top 10. The moment you type there 10 and you scroll here and apply. Now you have typed top 10, but top 10 of what? Top 10 of the freight, top 10 of the amount. So you have to note that one here, which means I'll go this side of the amount, pick the amount, bring it here. So in other words, I'm telling Power BI that I want you to filter for me always my customers, but I will always want top 10 depending on the amount they have purchased from us. Then I will apply. It will automatically give you the top 10. So yeah, you can go ahead and do all the formatting. There are a lot of formattings we still have to do, like on the amount, putting commas and all that. So when we come here, you can go now on the numbers, here on the values. Now you see when we are dealing with a table, you get more things to look at in formatting. So here I will go directly to numbers. What do I need on numbers? What do I need? The background, everything, let's leave it like that. And there's something we have to change, let's say on style, on numbers. It has to be on numbers. Column headers. Now here you can come, let's say those column headers, you want to make them blue background. Let's say you want to use a bluish background, let's say this, and a black. You can remain with that. Just make it simple. Then you can center them. You see they will center. Then you can do all what you want. If you want to bold, they will bold. That is on text. Then the other options here, if you want them to auto resize with the wording, such that when I click here, when amount can't disappear from behind that column, you can always do that. Auto size width. Then if you don't want totals here, you can remove them by toggling this off. The totals will go off. But if you want also to give totals their own color, you can come here and say, I also want to give them, no, it was not text. The text has to remain black. The background, I want to give them maybe a darker blue, something like this. So then that is it. You can go ahead and do all, there are a lot of things. Just play with your data to make sure that you get it right. Now, let me look at the background. I want the background to be not white. So if I want the background here, it is value. This is background for the values. Then this is background for the column headers, which were already given. This is background for the totals. And this is background for the values, which is none. Then for elements, you can put even a function. Now we want this background for the table itself. So the moment I say transparent, you see, we are making our table somehow transparent like that. So the moment I click here, you'll see that your table is somehow sweet and smart. So the headers, you can always go and insert a text. It is always just to be creative. So you can come here, the header, this is, you'll say customer versus revenue, like this, stroke freight. So that is our header. So remember what we did, still on background, come on format, click on this, come on format and look for effects, background, just make it transparent, don't fight with it. Then you can bold the font. You can bold this by clicking on bold, but make sure that it is selected. We can bold it and increase its size to around 12. No, it is not selected. Okay, select this, increase its size to around 12. Then you can go ahead and give it another color that is bold enough like the other color we used. So I'll come to this color. We used this, we used that. So can shrink this such that it doesn't disturb you in putting other visuals, then move it and put it here. So there we have started creating, sorry for that. There you have started creating your format, you're putting up your data such that it is visible for people to look at. So you can even go ahead and always sort this. So when you click on this, it sorts. So also you have options to make sure that you put commas here. I'll show you a trick. The commas, you can always go and put them from the data view. So how do you do that? You go to the data view and select the table. Is it this? Yes, it is. No, it is orders. Is it this? No. Yeah, it is this. So where did we? No. The other one was, I think the amount was, the amount was a measure. So the moment I click on this measure, it will show me the formula that I put. You add the column from here like this, the comma from there. It will automatically add the commas on the measure I had created. And if you want to change the freight for it, you can change it from the table the other side. Let's assume that they're all dollars. So we shall put here dollar, and it will automatically show dollars here. Even the freight is supposed to be in dollars. You'll go now for it on table. Look for where freight is. I think it is here. Now this is the freight. Select that column, come here and make it dollars. And also make sure that it has commas. The moment you put it in currency, it gets commas automatically. So when I come this side, you see it automatically changes my data. Now, by the mere view of things, you see that everything now is starting building up, which means if I click like on federal shipping, these customers will be changing. Now here you didn't give it decimals. So we go back to, you see it is bringing like 1,000 decimals. So come back on the measure. Here the decimals are in auto. We say we don't need any decimal. Just leave it 0. It will automatically become 0. So you see now by the virtual look of things, you see that your report is picking value. If I click on Speedy Express, it will change automatically. You see even the top 10 are changing. When I click on United, it changes. When I drag this one, it changes. Everything is dynamic. Now let's add something else. Let's add our trend. Our trend is always a line chart. I think we did that in the start when we were talking about how we deal with graphs and all that. So now a trend, I want to put the number of orders that have come through on a daily. We want to track the number of orders coming through on a daily. So how do I do that? On x-axis, I want to put a day, which means I'll look for where my date is, which is this order date. Open that, expand that, such that you get the hierarchy. Now in the hierarchy, I want to pick a day. I don't want to pick a full day. If you want month, then you can do the same. So I'll pick a day. The moment I tick on it, it will choose where it should go. But if you know where it has to go on the x-axis, drag and put it there. Then another thing, I know I'm picking a lot of things such that you grasp a lot in this call, such that it can give you a grasp, a gist of trying out the same when you are off this call. Then we want the number of orders that have come in on a daily a trend. So I'll pick the order ID, put it on the y-axis. Now, the moment I put it on the y-axis, this is what we have. So the moment I put it on the y-axis, it will pick now from 0 to 30, 31. Because now it is doing 55, that's why you are seeing the 35. Don't mind of the 35. So remember now here it is picking count of orders. Remember there are some orders which are duplicating because of the many items they have. So I will come and say, no, we need the count distinct. So this is now our chart. And when you hover on it, it will show you on 17th, there was 15 orders. So you can come and change this to number of orders like this, such that you have it right. So when I hover, someone will see on 18th we had 10 orders, on this we had these orders. So on this trend, you can add something else. What can I add here? You can even add the amount generated on a daily. So when I drag amount and bring it here, it will add that column of amount. But now the challenge we are facing is that the other one is becoming unrecognized, which means the amount, you don't put it on the same y-axis, we put it on another axis, such that the amount picks from one axis. This is number of orders. The amount is this side in millions of dollars. So I don't know whether we pick it. If you want to make it combo, you can have something like this, such that orders are picking as bars, then the revenue is picking as a line graph. So you can go ahead now and start doing the formatting. Now you have a lot to look at. You have the line, you have the bars. So everything will be looked at one by one. Just try it out. Make sure that at least you have a gist of what everything is speaking to. So if I want to pick the formatting that I did here to this line, I will click on that table of mine. Actually, I will click on the table of mine like this. That is the table. Come on Format Painter. Click here, it will automatically format painter this. So we already have now this line chart, which is picking so. But you can always go back and change the background transparency. Where is the transparency here? You can change it such that it has a lighter whitish in the background, such that it is picking sense if someone is looking at it. Then you can always go on the borders and give them round borders, like where the borders, legends, here, come on effects, then where the borders, here is the border. So you can have the border and you give it a round effect, such that my report looks like this. So I've done this. You can go ahead and add other graphs. So let's have a pie chart. Let's have a pie chart that is going to look at the split of, let me move this down here. Let's have a pie chart that is, you can put the same header. You can, if you already have this format, just copy this, Control-C, Control-V. You copy it here, then you bring that header. Okay, I'm supposed to drag this. Okay, you can drag from here. So you can always bring this here and remove the other default headings. So this, you can put the heading. I'm not going to change this. So you can always remove these default headers by coming here. You say, you say I never needed a header for that. If you need the legends, it's okay. But since it has already spoken, but you can leave the legends. Now, that is it. Let's pick something else. Now, let's take a donut chart. A donut chart, I want to do a split of shippers. Split of shippers, which is this. So I just carry the company ID name, put it here. It has come, but I haven't seen my pie chart because here we still selected United that. So I haven't added another value, so select here. I added the values. What values do we need? Maybe we need freight cost. So I'll pick the freight cost and dump it here. It will automatically spread it that way. So it is up to you now to put these legends down. If you come here and you go to legends, you can say, I want the legends at the bottom center. They will show up like that. If you want them at the right, you can do it. Then we don't need the title for the legends because we know what it is. We don't need that title also. So you can always come back here and also remove that title because we have our default title, which will bring there. Now I'll shrink this to the least it can stand like that. Now, if I need this format to carry it here, I will select that format painter, format here. That is it. So now, the moment I do any filter this side, it will filter everything. You see, my report now is now dynamic, very dynamic. Now, what Duncan was saying, now when you go to add data for today updated, it will automatically update here. So even that date you see it was showing up to 2015. If you added data for today, this data will run up to today because the last date was 2015. That's why we have this as 2015. So then all these tables are filters to each other. If I want to click on this folk, it will filter everything to this folk like this. You see, it filters the cards, it filters this to only folk. So if I click on this, it filters everything to that customer. So a table can also be a filter to the other visuals. But as we go ahead, I will show you how to limit it not to filter other things. We have that, we do it from optimize, but it will be something to look at next time. Now go ahead and create more visuals as you can. Let me see, which other visual can I create? I can have a bar chart. Let me have a bar chart here. So this bar chart, I want it to look at, do we have transporters? No, we have categories actually. So I can bring a category name here. Then I can bring the value. We want to see what every category is giving us in amount. It is here in order, like this. So these are the categories we had. So you can go ahead and sweeten it down more. But there are very many here. You can always now go ahead and filter by saying, you know what? Here, I want to filter by categories, but I want top N, I want only 5. But only 5, I want to filter them by amount. So I'll go ahead and pick amount, put it here. It will automatically, when I apply the filter, it will automatically give me only 5 like this. Then if I don't want these axes, I can go ahead and add the data labels. We have done that in Excel. By coming here, you'll find there something to do with data labels here. So when I tick there, it will add the data labels, which means I no longer need the x-axis. You get it off. Just to make your data neat. Now I need the same format. I will pick this command format painter, put it here. You remember we removed the headers, so you have to fight to put the customized headers. So since here it has taken off my labels, I will come and pick them again. So that is it. So here, you can come to the labels and say, by the way, these labels, I need them to be in the value of the labels. I need them to be at least in millions, like that, such that it doesn't pick 0.00. So you can go ahead and put the headers. Still, when you filter, it will filter. And you see when we filter, daily products comes on top, beverage goes down. That is the analysis you're doing. So if someone is seated somewhere in the boardroom and they want to tell on with this day or in this period, how do we ship, they can give a decision directly from the data they are looking at. And guys, that's what we call data-driven decisions. So it is not until you come up with a report like this That's when people will start picking sense of your data. But when that data is still in this format you saw last time we opened, it doesn't make sense. In this format, no one can ever tell which product was the highest. Even if that person came on products and critically looked at them, no one can tell that which this is highest. Even if that person came on models, nothing he can pick. It is only the view that can give you a picture of what you want to decide how the business to run.